Welcome to Real Inside Sales Talk with Mark and Jason, episode 2.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Real Inside Sales Talk, episode 2 with Mark and Jason. I am Jason.
I am Mark.
How you doing out there, folks? Thank you for downloading the episode today. Hey, how you been, Mark?
Oh my gosh, today is day 1 in our new building. We just left this really fancy office and bought this big expensive house, which we're remodeling top to bottom.
Nice.
I've had 5 cups of Folgers coffee.
5 cups?
5 cups. I've had pizza.
You're stoked.
I've had
You're
pizza.
Stoked.
Oh my gosh. You know, I had 5, oh my gosh, like too much coffee, right?
Well, yeah.
Oh.
I saw your video this morning on Facebook, on our Real ISA Talk Facebook page. Bravo, man. So that's the new place, dude.
The boiler room. Welcome to the madness.
And it really is. There's a boiler down there, isn't there?
A couple. Maybe a dead body or two.
I saw that. Is that really where the toilet's going to be?
That's my personal throne.
That yours? Oh,
and look,
wow.
like I have the toilet on a throne too. It's like a couple feet up almost.
Right,
like it's clean.
Right. Oh, that'll be nice. Make sure you get a phone in there.
Fuck. I didn't even think of that. Well, I got my cell phone, so.
Well, yeah, you can stay connected Bluetooth. Today's technology, folks, no problem. Mark will be able to make calls from the new bathroom in his new office at the new boiler room. So don't worry out there. He's not going to be wasting a second of the day. So if his boss is listening to this, don't worry, man. Mark, he is plugged in.
We love you.
From the time he walks in till the time he leaves, dude. He is not off the phone.
Oh, dude, I guarantee it. And you know what? Guess how many phone calls I made today?
I'm going to say, Mark, for you, what'd you make? Did you get at least 5 done?
I got 3 listing appointments to go and list a house.
Sweet.
1 in Kansas City, 2 for Springfield.
Sweet.
I got to be honest, for the 2 in Springfield, they were people that I've been nurturing since March.
Really?
Yep,
Nurturing.
I called them March 10th, looked at my notes, both within the same week.
Right.
And I've been talking to them off and on for a month, and then they finally said, hey, I'm ready to go list my house, one which is 45 minutes away, and the other one which is like 10 minutes away.
Follow up,
So,
nurture, follow up.
Absolutely.
Nurture,
follow up
nurture.
on your phone calls, because people, if you don't follow up, they're going to forget about you and just think that you're just some random person that's calling them out of the blue.
Right.
Or
it doesn't care.
Or you're on the do not call list and you hate me.
Right.
But it's really cool because, you know, there's a lot of real estate agents that just focus on their sphere, who you know, your friends and family.
Right.
And you have those realtors that are going to go through expires and FSBOs, but all 3 of these leads,
Okay.
2 of
Where'd
them,
they come from?
The 2 that called me from March were circle prospecting. I literally
Okay,
I
cool.
phone booked them. I called them up out of the blue. Hey, how's it going? Introduced myself, let them know who I was.
So for new listeners out there that are maybe new to the sales game, tell me, Mark, what is circle prospecting?
Circle prospecting is where you literally take a phone book and you call everybody in it. Business to business for commercial real estate.
Really?
Residential for residential real estate. And then there's also alternative programs that you can look into as well. But, you know, these houses I looked at today, I mean, I've set 2 listing appointments worth half $500,000 combined.
Right.
Just for Springfield. And then Kansas City, you know, I've got an investor that just wanted to sell a good $70,000 rental place. You know, it's not going to be a big buck, but it's a buck.
Now,
Plus,
do you hit like specific neighborhoods? Will you call, say, everybody in a specific neighborhood?
So the rule of thumb is call all these neighborhoods which has the best stats. I have programs that can organize neighborhoods by how much you make money yearly,
Right.
Which is spooky. I know how much you make. I know how much your house is appraised for. I know how much it's sold
It's
for.
sold for and
I have
everything.
immediate comps. I can find out anything and everything about your neighborhood
Right.
pretty much if I just put forth a little bit of effort.
What price range was the listings that you booked?
I had one at $410,000 today.
410, awesome, dude.
And that's going to be
Awesome.
in Marionville,
Okay.
which is a tough place to sell. I mean,
It's a small place.
It is, and
Small
there's not
town.
a lot of people that want to sell out there, but the people that do are motivated. And,
Ranch, probably, isn't it?
You know, once I
Got
do
some
it,
land with it, maybe?
oh my gosh, it's got a whole farm on it: horses, cows, chickens. And the best thing he said was the internet's amazing.
Is that right?
Because usually that's a
Really?
big complaint. You buy
Wow.
something way far away from the city, and the
And
internet's
they don't
not
like,
very
yeah,
good.
the internet's not there.
Or the water doesn't taste very good. And this guy was very motivated. He covered it. Pretty much every inch of his house with
Did he?
solar panels.
Did he really?
At least that's what he tells me.
Well, now that's the other thing I was going to ask you about, Mark. You said these all came off of nurtures, and you know follow up is important,
And referrals.
and referrals, and so what sort of rapport building, trust building techniques did you use with the guy over the long term? And it shows you, one, just people think out there, remember the value of relationships. It doesn't matter who you run across. You never know. They could be a sale. You could help them at some point in life. I mean, that's the objective of sales, is to not only fulfill yourself, satisfy yourself and your own needs and your own wants, but help others do the same thing. And so, Mark, how did you nurture these people to help them get where they want to get their house sold?
Two things. The first thing is I didn't treat them like a regular phone call that most telemarketers make every day. Most telemarketers have one agenda: sell you on the first call, move on to the next lead if they don't sell you.
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, hardcore, right in there to you, yeah.
And when it comes to real estate, cars, house cleaning, bed cleaning,
right,
carpet cleaning, even, the more
cell
relations,
phones.
everything.
Walked into a Verizon store lately. You're mobbed instantly, man.
I didn't know anything about that.
It's like Radio Shack used to be.
Tell me more about that. I haven't heard that.
Well, no, that's seriously. I mean, when you walk into the cell phone stores, I mean, that's where I've tried to recruit a couple of salesmen when I've been in a Verizon store.
They're the easiest people to sell.
That's right, and that's what they're thinking about, because you go in there, they take your name and number, and
keep calling Zillow.
Yeah, they get you over to a little booth, and you get to talk, and they find out about your plan, and I was privy to kind of some inside stuff at one of the big chains, and so you saw in their break room, in their back room, little office room, motivation room, whatever you want to call it, their incentives that were up on the board, and their little
rock star of the month.
Rock star of the month
hit
totals.
45 sales in 30 days.
Yeah.
Why can't you? You suck.
Here's what we're offering a discount on.
Here's how much their check was.
Well, exactly. So that's the thing is over time. I mean, that game is much different than what you're doing, where, in Verizon, most people are going in there, to replace their phone or something like that. They're kind of already bought in, but, a house sale, car sale, selling an HVAC system to a couple that's unsure about what they want. You've got a small business, very competitive. Same with, independent people, plumbers and such. They're competing with the big name brands out there, and that's why it's so crucial for you to network and to get relationships built with other people that because those are the people that are going to connect you, speak for your reputation, guarantee your bona fides, and over time, they're going to become your client. You're going to win the conversation.
Absolutely, and Jason's more of the philosophical reference on this show, and me,
That's right. I'm a sales warrior philosopher,
and then I tell you the real talk.
Yeah, the real talk, exactly. That's what Mark is here for, man. I mean, and go ahead on that point, Mark. I mean, that's what you do each day.
This is why you're listening to this podcast. So, without any more suspense, let me tell you how I got the business. I cold call a lot of people. And there's a lot of people that said, hey, I'd sell right now if you bring me $1 million. Then you look at their house and it's like worth $100,000.
Right.
So that those are not going to be your best follow-ups and nurtures.
They have an inflated sense of what
they're just telling you in a nice way to screw off. I mean, that's just what it is.
Right.
And all right, so these people that I got to set listing appointments with today.
Right.
The Marionville one and the other one closer by.
Right.
I just called them up. Hey, I'm a local real estate agent in the area. I do a lot of business within an hour of Springfield and the surrounding areas.
Right.
Wanted to find out if you thought about selling while the market's hot.
Right.
And they'll say something like, you're the 10th realtor this year that's called me asking me if I want to sell my house. I wish I'd never bought a house because all you guys do is call me the next day asking me if I'm ready to sell it.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's a good problem to have, pal. I'll tell you that.
I would say I understand exactly how you feel. I bought a house last summer in June, and I have lots of people calling me asking me if I'm ready to sell. I'm like, hey, things are just now getting good. Wait till I have some more time.
Are you ready yet? Because, anytime you're ready to sell, list with me. And
if I say call back January 1st, they're calling back January 1st. Are you ready yet?
Yeah, are you ready? Yeah.
Yeah, so with me, my approach is a little bit different. I call them up. Hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is who I know. I'm an important figure in Missouri. And I'm not saying that to lie to them. I'm just saying, okay, this is the truth. These are the people that I work with. I work with the best lenders. I work with the best buyers and listing agents. I work with the best appraisers. So when you're ready to sell, please let me know. And I'm going to set the expectation that I'm going to check in every 60 to 90 days via a call, a text message, or an email, or maybe all three. And just so you know that I have the best communication, and when it comes to selling your home, you're going to have the best communication from me because, as I posted on Facebook earlier, 78% of people took a poll here lately, and they said I would not use the same salesperson again because they had terrible communication, or when it came down to getting the hard facts like
Right.
cancellation
Policies
policies
and
or
stuff, yeah.
refunds, you know,
Right.
they
Winning
were
their money back.
They were like,
Buyer's
"Oh, well, I
remorse,
really
yeah.
don't know anything," or well, there is no cancellation department, or sorry, I missed your call. Sorry,
There's
Yeah.
no money back guarantee here, pal.
So again, I referenced this on the first episode on our first podcast. Set the expectation. You're going to call back. This is what you're going to do, and this is the process.
Right.
And they're either going to respect it or they're not. If they don't respect it, then don't bother with them.
Now,
find the people that respect your process.
Okay, and that's perfect. I mean, because that is the process. And how did you get these clients that you set to feel the urgency to set that appointment and listen to that listing agent and get their house listed? How did you kind of get them over the edge? What clicked with them?
Well, I find out if they're really motivated to sell a house. I'll
Right.
even ask them a question. You know,
Now, did you? And one more point: did you give them questions that might linger in their mind? You know,
I
further?
plant little bombs or little seeds
yeah,
and make
okay.
them grow or explode.
A little more subtle instead of just
Yeah,
the direct.
I'm
You
always
need to
planting
list. You're
bombs.
missing out. The market's hot right now. I could go down. Yeah.
And I leave myself great notes.
Right.
I pitch, and I have 20 different calling personalities, and I don't mean this in a weird
Well, no,
person
you
way.
have to. If you're working out there in a call center, you understand what
In the movie Boiler Room, the biggest line that ever stood out to me is, "You can be whoever you want to be in the phones, but I'm not the vice president." Okay.
Right.
So I will pitch someone a certain way, and I will build rapport with them. I follow the DISC personality method, which we talked about on episode 1, DISC, problems, people, pace, procedure.
Right.
And then on top of that, I find out family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Okay, and then I also find out, most importantly, and here's a trigger question.
Right.
I know you would tell me if you
Right.
didn't want to work with me.
Right. You would tell.
Or if there was someone else involved
Uh-huh.
that's going to make this more of a difficult emotional decision for you to make.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not mad and I'm not upset.
Understand, yep.
If you're not interested, tell me now because I don't want to waste your time.
Right. Exactly. And that's where you get clear. I mean, you cut clear to the point.
And people
where-
love it because they get so much bullshit, and I don't like to cuss too much. Kidding. But that's when you earn their respect.
Right.
You know, these people, some of these people that you call, they might be 60, 70, 80, 90 years old.
Right.
But don't act like most people that call these people get the mentality that, oh, they're old and dumb and derp. No, these people are smart. They've been through this 100 times.
Right. And you ask them great questions.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
I'm
that's
straight
what
with them.
it's what it comes down
I'm
to.
probably the 100th realtor that's called you in your lifetime.
Right. Right. And you'd be
What number am I?
Right. Exactly.
This is how I'm different. It's because I do business completely different than everybody else,
Right.
which is why I can get you the most money on the sale of your house, or I can save you the most money on the buying of your house because I know how to negotiate.
Right, and be upfront with them certainly about the timing of what goes on. I mean, real estate
yeah.
sometimes, I mean, that can just change overnight.
Absolutely.
And they have to be
I've seen it
real
happen
about it.
4 times.
Yeah, and you have to be real about that with the protective, especially the buyer or the seller. Seller, I mean, that's one thing that comes into it, and one thing that's frustrating about, certainly you want to get the listing and you want to grow your business, but also you have to realize the market that you're in as well. That some markets are, you're getting people, and the money's easy. I mean, it just can't turn it down. I mean, if it's out there easy to sell $1 million houses that people are just going to buy, whether they can afford it or not, well, I can understand why people chase some of that money. But you've also got to, especially ethically,
Ethically is huge.
Well,
in all sales, it doesn't matter what you're selling. You need to have ethics. You need to have, I'm not saying religion, but you need to have some morals about you that make people want to come back to you. Like there are certain people that I meet that are smarter than me in many different areas, and I would love to learn from them.
Right.
But because their lifestyle is not really something I'm comfortable with, I don't associate with those people.
Right, and that's just it. Is there's certainly unethical salesmen out there. There's always has been, and there always will be. And we're not making judgments here necessarily about that. That's just the way people do business, and you get burned by those people. You don't do business with them again. People will get that sort of reputation as that type of salesman, and there's a fine line that you walk between being a really good. What did you just open?
This is a Coca-Cola.
Okay, so
Sarah, I swear, it's a Coca-Cola.
This is a great time to take a second and remind everybody out there who you're listening to. This is the Real Inside Sales Talk podcast with Mark and Jason. This is episode 2, and
join us on Facebook at Real ISA Talk.
Exactly. I was about to say, Mark, where can you find us? And I'm glad you jumped that in there. At Realize ISA Talk on Facebook, you're going to find not only daily live videos of us, you can get quick answers to questions that you might have. You're going to get motivational quotes thrown up there, interesting anecdotes about salespeople,
random
thoughts, and the best thing, here's the opportunity, people, for you. Are you new in the sales industry? Are you thinking of getting in the sales industry? Are you wanting to become a better salesman? Because if you are, let me tell you a little secret. Let me tell them, everybody. Mark, don't shush me yet. I've got to let him know that for as little as $5 a month, you could be part of our secret Facebook group where you can get immediate live interaction with Mark and myself day to day.
Oh, don't bring up the tape.
Oh, no, not the tape. Hey, I got to tell people
this real quick. Tell them this too.
Oh, no. People, listen, you've got to listen. Anyway, $5 a month, secret Facebook group, Mark and mine's information. You get sales coaching. If you become a subscriber for a year, you get a free half-hour Skype session with Mark and myself to talk to you about your sales goals, what your approaches are, how we can offer you some motivation, and how we can help you. That's, again, our secret Facebook group for $5 a month. Become a subscriber. Support the show. We're going to have a lot of great guests on here up and coming. We've got a schedule slated. You're going to have this podcast come out at least 3 times a week for you people. Plus, you're going to get some bonus episodes where we do some things that we don't normally do. And, Mark, tell us what else is great about this podcast that we're doing and our secret Facebook group that they can get for as little as $5 a month.
Well, keep in mind, if you run a business too, call us up, direct message us. Let's get you on the show. Let's get your point of view of how you run your business. Tell us what's working great for running your business, how you're making your clients save more money than ever. And this, did you see how much the economy grew? Was it 4%?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. People are spending money right now. So if you're running a sales business of any type, call in, blog. We'll figure out something on Skype.
And, folks, here's a tip. If you have sales skills, you will always have a job. Think about that. If you have the skills to sell negotiations, leverage, getting that raise you need at work, looking at new opportunities, looking at life in a different lens.
Maybe even control your schedule.
Control your schedule more. Do you want the freedom to be able to travel? Do you want the best for your kids? Do you want a new car? Do you want a new place to live? Do you want to go on that vacation you haven't been able to go on each day? Well, that's what we do for people is we help them aspire to their dreams. We help them set their goals. We take a look at their life and say, look, you need to schedule this in. You need to, what you need to do is prep more. Also, maybe that market isn't right for the product that you're selling and you need to move to a different market. Know your customer. Are you out there knowing your customer each day? Are you out there valuing those relationships each day? And that's what we talk about in our secret Facebook group at Real ISA Talk.
Absolutely. And, you mentioned the market,
the market. Tell me about.
So, and I'm not trying to put everything on real estate, but that's what I do.
Yeah.
And a few other things, but find out in our secret.
What do you sell out of the trunk of your car on lunch break, Mark?
Lawn chairs.
Lawn chairs,
actually. $5 a chair.
You get a lot of lawn chairs in that Prius.
Shit. It's an Acura, you asshole. Anyway, no. Only here at Real ISA Talk are you going to run into this. So,
go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry.
Pardon the suspense again, and you'll know that you're listening to the right show after I say this, but you talk about the market, what works in my market in Springfield and Kansas City might not work in other markets where it's a buyer's market where there's 100 homes for sale. Let's say people want to sell a home in Detroit. Well, not a lot of people want to live in Detroit. And much love to Detroit. Detroit. I'm not saying anything.
Sure. It's an opportunity.
Negative. It's
an opportunity.
This is real talk. We look at it from an investor standpoint, from a buyer standpoint, from a seller standpoint. It's a lot harder to sell a house in Detroit than it is in Springfield or Kansas City or Overland Park or Branson or Independence or whatever.
Exactly.
And also another thing too is make your calls. Take time out of your day. 4 hours a day you need a lead generator.
Yeah, you have to schedule yourself each day.
There's so many agents at many different companies that I've seen that would be tripling their income if they just lead generated for at least 4 hours a day.
Right. And what's your lead generation schedule, Mark?
7 a.m. up until 4:30, upwards to 10:30 at night.
Okay.
My phone never stops ringing, and the reason why is I leave voicemails. People don't want to do business with some guy that calls, hangs up, and doesn't leave a voicemail. It's just some jackass you have to call back because you don't know who he is.
Now, do you do all your lead generation just over the phone? Do you do it elsewhere? When you go out to the grocery store, Facebook, social media? How do you leverage leads?
So everywhere, like for example, all the gas stations near me,
Okay.
everywhere I go, like I have the Eagle stop that I get my biscuits and gravy at.
Sweet.
I got the Joji's Quick Stop that I get the 79-cent fountain drinks from.
Oh yeah.
And then
Shout out to Biscuits and Gravy out there, man.
So I walk in there almost every day, and I go, "Hey, I'm Mark Bayless. This is what I do. I'm a real estate agent. I see you working here. Do you live nearby?
Right.
Do you
right.
rent?
Do you rent?
Have you thought about buying?
You thought about
it? Here's a couple of my business
Now's
cards.
a great time.
Keep one, and then maybe pass one out to a friend if there's someone that I can help. I'm going to hook you up on a deal.
Yeah.
Because I sell houses for a living. This is all I do.
Right.
I have so many houses that I can sell.
Wow.
I can get you a deal on one of them. I know I can.
You can, no way.
You just let me know when you're ready. Oh, by the way, I run this website that says I need a home with no money down.
Whoa.
So if you're broke like I used to be, just Google I need a home with no money down, Springfield, Missouri. And I pop up. Holy shit, how simple is that?
So you mean I can get a home with no money down?
USDA loans all
Really?
day long.
What do you need to qualify? Maybe my credit's not very good, man. That's why I'm working here at the Biscuits and Gravy Shop.
So let me ask you this. If you could fix your credit inside of 6 months and get yourself in a house within a year, what would that do for you?
Well, it'd do a lot for me. I'd have more room. I'm tired of being in an apartment on the 3rd floor got my wife, my baby, and we're lugging groceries up 3 flights of stairs, and I got the baby in the stroller and the wife, and she's pregnant again, and she didn't like walking up there. So I need to find another place, man.
Well, at least she can walk. Well, let me ask you this.
Today.
What does it look like in 2 years when you have 2 kids, a wife, and maybe a house that you're mowing every weekend, a yard that you're trimming, neighbors that you're meeting? What does that look like for you?
Well, that's what I want to do, man. That's what I want to do. I'm going to school at night. I'm trying to I'm trying to get a business degree and get out of my job that I'm in and take care of my kids and so I'd like to get a house, but what do you mean? I have to repair my credit or something? What do I need? How much? I want to buy a house with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and a basement, and I got my truck out that I like to work on weekends, and so I need a shop, and so I need some land and some space, and so it's interesting, but I just don't think it's for me.
Okay, and that makes sense to me. Let me ask you this: in your lifetime, how many houses do you plan on buying?
Well, I don't know. I've never really thought about it too much. I want to buy at least one because I thought then in 5 years I could sell it and we can move to a bigger one.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Let's make sure you're prepared to buy a house. How good are you at fixing things that break?
Oh, I'm good with tools.
Okay.
I'm good with tools. I can fix my truck. I can hang a picture on the wall. I could frame a bedroom if I needed to.
How much money do you have left after your bills every month?
Well, I've been putting away a little bit each month, but I got the kid on the way. That's going to sap into it, and I got the
What's your debt to income ratio? Let's go over that.
Well,
in fact, let's actually pause that conversation.
Okay.
And I know you're going to have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I'm not a lender. I'm
Okay.
a real estate agent. So what I want to do is I want to have my lender, who quote unquote sponsors me and pays for stuff, to call you and go over everything in the process. Once they get you pre-approved, which I've seen my lenders go as low as 600 plus credit scores.
Right.
I've seen them do some amazing things, and I've had deals closed. I'm like, I don't even know how that closed.
Yeah. So you've got to also not only reach out to the customer, but you've got to maintain all these partnerships with other sales types that you have to be able to trust.
Exactly. And so again, here's where it goes. I know you have a lot of questions,
right?
And I know that you sound eager by going to school and putting back money. But in the long run, A, does it benefit you? B, can you take care of it? C, can you afford it and maintain it?
Right.
And 4, do they qualify to buy?
Well, that's just it. And you want to, and it's a great little role play that we're getting into there.
Absolutely.
Because you make a lot of good points, and that's the one thing about this kid. He's obviously, wanting to get ahead. He's obviously working pretty hard. You want to see him help out, but you don't want to just be dishonest with him. Shove them into a loan that they're going to default on in 6-8 months.
Yeah, why do you need? Okay, is your first house okay without a shop? Is this something that is a shop something that you could wait 5 years for you sell?
Right.
You know,
And a lot of people
go buy
don't
something
understand
else.
just the
and that would
finance-
be a repeat customer too. So you're going to double dip your business. You're going to sell my house then. You might sell another house in 5 years, and then the one in 10 years. And that's why I asked them, well, how many houses do you plan on buying in your lifetime?
Right.
Because nobody ever thinks about that. And it's
No.
a powerful question.
Well, and not only that, and then to get them to like see
Sets
some reality.
expectations.
Exactly. And when they see that you're real with them and say, well, let's just look at your situation here. What are the pros? What are the cons? You know, and you go through that. And I've had so many people that are just appreciative. I've actually probably blown half as many sales as I've made, to be honest with you, just because I'm telling you, like, look, guys, look at this. Yeah, you can on paper afford this, but look at what are your goals? What are you aspiring to be? What do you want to do in life? By doing that, you are going to be in a position where you're going to default on this house in 6 months. You're buying in a neighborhood that's deteriorating.
And you're going to be pissed at me because
Yeah,
I
you're gonna
didn't
be pissed at me
advise you
because I didn't
correctly.
tell you.
And
Exactly.
you know, and honestly, it might hurt us to lose a deal emotionally, but 6 months later, a year later, you know, we know that we made the right decision by not losing our morals and who we are. And that brings us to a topic of some really powerful salesmen in the history. Jason, tell us more about this.
Yeah, Mark, I'm glad you brought that. I think on this podcast we want to educate people because every salesman has learned from salesmen before them, and every great artist, whatever it is, whatever your industry, you learn ideas, and I think stealing is not the right word necessarily. I think it's
Or misguiding.
Well, I think also it's good ideas, perpetuate, and good ideas propagate themselves. You find a good idea. And so I found a couple of figures in the history of sales, okay?
Who are these figures?
Okay, let me tell you. They combine three things. They combine regimen, discipline, preparation. They combine mindset, belief, the willingness that you can accomplish a goal that you set out to be. And then they also combine, showmanship, flair, a little bit of pizzazz to what you're doing, a style, if you will.
They're the legends.
Yeah, and some of these people
created the method.
Yeah, and the first one that I want to talk about is this guy whose name is John Patterson, and he was with the National Cash Register Company. I believe he founded it in like 1884, 1882, something like that. But what he created was, I guess he had a brother-in-law or something, and he based the sales training primer. He started the first basically sales training school. Okay? Wow. I know. Isn't that amazing?
He's the man.
Well, that's just it. I mean, the guy had
One of them.
well, his claim to fame, Mark, is the fact that he came up with not only kind of like scripting, role playing, but he also started assigning territory to his salespeople, so they
Showing
could,
people how to do the job.
well, and not only that, you could
The process.
You could cultivate a relationship with somebody. So he had a phrase. He had coined a phrase that hung up in his business until AT&T bought it, and I think AT&T bought it in the early 20th century. But his phrase was, "We cannot have a dissatisfied customer." So you have that everywhere in your business, and people look at that and people read that and people think that each day. And he's a guy who is very big on being honest and being direct. And here's his take on, if you're in the middle of the sale and you've got to know your customer and you're ready to close the deal, Mark. He says, after you've, and this is from his book that he wrote for his company. He says, after you have made your proposition clear and feel sure that the merchant realizes the value of the register, do not ask for an order. Take for granted that he will buy. Say to him, "Mr. Blank, what color shall I make it?" Or, "How soon do you want delivery, Mark?" So you take out your order blank, you fill it out, handing him your pen and say, "Just sign where I've made the cross." Now, Mark, if he objects, find out why. You know what I mean? Find out why.
Doesn't have enough information.
Exactly. Answer. This is what Patterson talks about. Answer his objections and again prepare him for signature. Make the merchant feel that he is buying because of his own good judgment. So find out the real reason why, and your chances are that is the very reason why he should buy. So concentrate your whole voice on one good strong point. Appeal to judgment. Get him to acknowledge that what you say is true. Then hand him the pen in a matter-of-fact way and keep on with what you were saying. This makes signing the logical and obvious thing to do. Now, aside from certainly the classic, turn-of-the-century language that it was written in, he makes the one point, he hits home, to know your customer, to meet his objection agreeably, professionally, and be able to, again, counter his argument with logic and emotion. But yes, Mark.
I got to tackle this from a
jump in.
management standpoint. We have a
Tell
lot of
me.
managers that run sales teams here, and I just want to give a shout out to Nikki. She's the most influential sales trainer that I had at Expedia, and
Cool. Nikki, she was good.
She was amazing. I mean, I'm not just saying it to suck up, but she was effing
Well, you
awesome.
have to give credit where credit is
Yeah,
due,
and
man.
she's running a sales and customer service team over at Teletech now. Wish her the best opportunities in the world. I would love to get her.
What was her number one strength?
So on the DISC personality, the DISC, she was a people and procedure.
People and procedures.
So an I is a people,
Right.
People, procedure, and the C is procedure.
Yeah.
So the first time I met her, she set crystal clear expectations. I'm going to meet with you every week, tell you if you're sucking or if you're doing awesome.
Okay.
Well, it got to the point where I was doing really good. She didn't have to really meet with me. But whenever we did have a meeting, she would lay out expectations and just say, sign here.
There
and
you
she
go.
would drop the pen,
Now,
and that's it.
And she was probably very positive as
Or,
well.
or she wouldn't even have to tell me to sign. She would be crystal clear in her expectations. We'd joke around a little bit, and she'd hand me the board, and she would highlight where to sign, but she wouldn't tell me where to sign. Or she'd just lay the pen on top of it,
Right.
like you know what to do.
But she was very, very clear about her
Very
expectations. And
assertive.
was she very positive?
Oh, amazing!
Okay,
Yeah. And good
so
cut,
this
too.
segues into my second personality I want to bring up, and this talks about mindset. And if anybody's familiar with the Mary Kay Corporation,
Oh, Mary Kay.
yep, ladies out there, and I mean, hey, everybody's familiar with Mary Kay. Everybody knows the pink Cadillac and everything like that. And Mary Kay, this is where mindset comes in. Mary Kay, here's a phrase here's a quote that's attributed to her, at least so far that I can find, and if I'm wrong, somebody correct me. Anyway, she had a phrase that said, more than sex and money, people want praise and recognition.
Oh my gosh, is that not the truth?
It is. In my job, especially my day-to-day work, praise and recognition is so important.
And you're a team leader like Nikki is.
Right. Exactly. Right. I supervise, several employees, and that's one thing that I always try to do is give them recognition, because I always wanted that. And you give them recognition, let them know here's what we're doing. And what she would do, she would say you need to sandwich the negative between two positives. So, and I do the same thing. I go, here's the pros, here's the cons, here's what we can do to make it better, here's what I can do to help you make it better. Here's what the expectations are, what are your goals, what are your motivations, what gets that employee motivated to do what they do. The other thing that I love this quote too from Mary Kay was she said pollution is the greatest pollution problem is negativity.
Oh, absolutely. I've worked for call centers where the negativity or the immaturity level was just unbearable. And I real quick, I want to give a shout out to my employers, Team Real Estate. I'm their inside sales agent, so I call everybody. And I have 2 listing agents that I have to set appointments for, or I don't have a job.
Right.
One in Overland Park. He is the most motivational guy in the world. Anytime I screw up, it's because I deserve it. But 110% of the time, even if I screw up, like every call, every text message, every email he has, he tells me how much he appreciates me. He motivates me. He loves me. I love the guy to death. And I also have David down in Springfield.
Right.
And he does the exact same thing. I appreciate you being here, and
that goes a long way.
And I love working for them. Like, I want to be on time at work. I want to have appointments on the board.
Right.
And just to sidestep there's a lot of people. There's a lot of really important people that have a lot of money that have offered me some really good jobs, and I'm not turning those down by any means. But I'm just saying the reason I didn't go with you is because these people put their heart, their soul, their trust, and their appreciation into me, and I feel a spiritual and personal obligation to make these people happy and successful.
And they've rewarded you, right?
I'm in charge of every sales lead between multiple, up to 6 cities, even more, depending on the radius.
Well, and that's good management, because that's one thing Mary Kay talked about and that's one thing she kind of started inventing was the reward system for employees. She'd give them vacations, jewelry, cars. I mean, you've seen a Mary Kay Cadillac around, haven't you?
I've seen the pink ones, right?
Yeah, that's what you got when you were top dog sales and Mary Kay.
You got a pink Cadillac. Someone's got the stuff on their back of their window. Mary Kay.
Exactly. Now, that's the thing is think about Mary Kay. She left her job because she was passed over for promotion from a male she was hired. This is in like the 60s. Way different culture back then as far as work. So she quit or retired. And then with a $5,000 investment, she started her company. And here the tragedy with Mary Kay, to an extent, is the fact that her husband died like a month after she started her business.
Oh my gosh! How did he die? Do you know?
I think it was like a stroke or a heart attack or something.
Man.
It was just
I had no
out of the blue.
idea.
I know. And so her son and her started her business.
Really?
Yeah, and she came.
Guy
up,
selling makeup.
I know. He managed the business. Mary Kay, her personality is what got that business through.
So she's in high eye.
So here's we're going to segue to our last little person here that we're talking about in sales history. Anybody out there seen an infomercial late night TV? Have you felt compelled to buy the knives late night, or you buy the Vitamix blender, or maybe the George Foreman grill,
The
or
extra long ladder that folds up into 9 different positions.
yeah, the OxyClean and the freaking, what is that goo that they make to like repair?
Gone.
Yeah, well,
or the rubber goo.
the rubber goo, the rubber stuff that they make the boat out of and everything that fixes
and the
everything.
rhino linings.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! But wait, there's more.
And it's great that you said that, because that's directly the line from the next guy, Ron Papale. I hope I'm saying, yeah, Ron.
Just said it
and forget it. Exactly. So you had to have Mark. Mark. That's the thing that Ron comes in with is the showmanship, and not only that, he was an inventor. He invented a lot of these products. I don't know if you knew that, but he was able to transform a person's want. You're sitting there, kick back in your chair. It's like, yeah, it'd be kind of cool to have like a beer cap with, that could fit 2 beers in a straw, so I don't have to get up to the fridge. I mean, he played on that want to turn that into a need, and that's why set it and forget it. Operators are standing by.
Yeah, we know you're going to buy, so just go ahead and call. They're setting the expectation. They're assuming a sale.
Assuming you are, exactly.
You see how easy I cut these tomatoes? See how easy I cut this chicken and everything else that you just suck at cutting? Oh, well, if you just had this knife, your life would be so much better.
Your life would be easier.
Your wife would tell you how good you did it.
Oh, yeah, she would be so proud of you. And
wouldn't she be thrilled?
I know. He did the pocket fisherman. Little pocket fisherman fishing rod. He did the Showtime rotisserie, which like baked something all day. He did the spray on hair. So, spray on hair.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, the spray on hair is a good one. Spray on hair is a good one.
Does it work?
I don't know. I'm thinning out a little bit too, Mark. Both of us, we're losing hair over this sales thing. So in sales, if you go in, you will go bald. So just be prepared. So,
or your liver will give out.
Or your liver will give out. So these 3 different individuals represented 3 different pillars of being a successful salesperson. John Patterson had an idea. He also saw the efficiency of keeping everybody on the same page of preparing your salesman through scripts, practicing, being confident in what you sell, always making sure that your customer is happy with the product that you're selling them. Mary Kay, her mindset, her attitude, her belief, she was very much encouraging people to be successful. She didn't like negativity at all. If you were positive, that's the thing. Start your day with daily affirmation. Be positive. Write. I do this a lot. As I write on my mirror in my bathroom, as I write, motivational stuff. Kind of have that, thing in the morning. It goes way back. I've done it a long time. And you do little things like Post-it notes work. Whatever you need to do to be motivated.
Listening to your favorite podcast or radio show.
Yeah, listening to exactly.
Scrolling through Facebook and looking at Real ISA Talk before work. Don't forget, like I said, $5 a month, you get our straight content that's going to help you succeed in business.
Become a better salesman.
Become a better person.
Better negotiator.
Better negotiator.
Yeah. We're going to talk about other things here on too. Sales is all about everything, and it's also improving yourself, improving your self-image. We talk about certain things we want to personally succeed. I have personal goals. Mark has personal goals. You have personal goals out there. That's what we want to do, is get through this together, and we're going to be providing you with help step by step of the way. We have on our Facebook page, Real ISA Talk on Facebook, we're going to be providing you with not only the information, where we get our information, books to read, programs. If you want to start an online business of your own at home, we've got links that we're going to be able to provide for that. Also, for $5 a month, if you're a supporting listener, a subscriber, you get into our secret Facebook group. And if you sign up for a year, you get a half an hour of coaching with Mark and myself on Skype. We'll take you step by step through what you need to do to become a more successful salesman, become more successful at your job, become a better negotiator, better coach, better manager, better person. That's what we want to help you be able to do, is help you through your life to succeed in those goals that you've set for yourself. Isn't that right, Mark?
Absolutely. And let me ask you this, Jason.
Yeah.
We're pitching salesmen here, right?
Well, we're pitching everybody. I mean, you don't have to be a salesman necessarily. Find out what people want and find a way to give it to them and make an extra dollar for
their wants, interests, their needs.
Your time is valuable out there. It doesn't matter what you're doing, whether it's with your boss, your coworker, your spouse, your children. Your time is valuable. You want to get the most out of it. You start looking at things in a positive outcome. Visualize the success of what you're going to have. Life is a set of challenges, and the way we deal with those challenges determines our success and our outcome. Being able to navigate those in a positive way, in a successful way, the way that makes you happy or that gets you to where you want to be in life, that's what we want to do here, isn't it, Mark?
Absolutely. And you talk about Mary Kay and eliminating the negative people in your life. There are people in my life who I truly enjoyed hanging out with. I would hang out with them 7 days a week now, still if I could, but I had to make some choices and decisions because they had a lot of negativity and they had a little... or a lot of twisted outlooks on many different topics.
Toxic people, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just because I didn't agree with everything that they said doesn't mean that I didn't like them, but it got to the point to where there was just too much negativity and toxicity.
Just not good for yourself.
So I chose to distance myself from those people, and I missed them every day, but at the same time, I've met better, positive people. I've made all my surroundings positive. You know, when I go into work, I love everybody that I work with. It
makes a difference.
I don't have to worry about that social anxiety at work.
Exactly.
At home, are my kids making the right grades at school? Are they making the right decisions? Riding the bus? I don't have to worry about that. You know, is my wife's haircutting business? Are they? And
that's worth it. Cutting that toxicity from your life is worth it in the end.
And that's why we talked about Mary, the Mary Kay creator. I mean,
she could have quit.
She could have. She could have listened to everyone else and said, you're right, but she didn't. And
could have gone off and just retired, wallowed in her own self-pity or whatever, but no, what did she do?
She laughed her way all the way to the bank.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to help you do here, folks, people. 3 times a week, Real Inside Sales Talk with Mark and Jason. You can find us at Real ISA Talk on Facebook. Like our page. Get on our page. We're always on there posting stuff. Interact with us. Come by, say hi, tell us what you think of the show. Mark, so good episode. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening. We really appreciate the time that you've given us today. We always like to hit around the 45-minute mark, give or take, for some commercial break or intros that we might input.
Yeah.
And if there's a subject that you want us to talk about or be more specific, direct message us.
Yep.
Do whatever you need to do. We want to talk to you. And,
And that's what we're going to do is make you successful, make you a better salesman. Check us out 3 times a week. Real Inside Sales Talk. This is Jason.
Woo! This is Mark. Welcome to Real ISA Talk. Goodbye.
Go sell something.
Peace.